your Taurus new moon forecast for May 16th, 2026. And we have the sun and the moon, the new moon in Taurus at 25 degrees, and that makes a conjunction with Mercury, the thinker, the communicator, at 28 degrees of Taurus. And in addition, that makes an out of sign conjunction with Uranus at 1 degree now in the sign of Gemini. So Mercury has kind of a little bit of a connection with this Gemini Uranus. And Gemini is all about communication. Taurus is stubborn. Taurus is about the second house, and it is a fixed earth sign. So overall, Taurus is about our sensibilities. And what else is Taurus about? It's the second house. It's about money. It's about investments. And what else is Taurus and the second house about but speech? So because of this new moon in Mercury out of sign with Uranus at 1 degrees Gemini, this is kind of a chatty yet sensible new moon, the cross between the Taurus and the Gemini. The Gemini communication with the Taurus need for practicality and some good old common sense, which is really good now. So this time, because it is a new moon, we are going to be, well, rather intelligent, using a lot of common sense and groundedness in our approach to our communication with each other. It's going to be a little bit of a relief from the last Scorpio full moon and the Aries fire new moon. It's kind of like we've gone through a little bit of the storm and the fire, and now we're coming out with our blinders off and our sensibilities on. But with this connection, this out of sign connection with Mercury and an applying conjunction with the new moon, we're also going to have to watch what we say. We don't want to say something for shock value. And all our need now to communicate with each other, to relate to each other, and really express our thinking, our ideas, because this is a very ideas oriented new moon with that connection with Uranus. But we also don't want to act rebellious just for the sake of acting rebellious. Uranus adds a touch of some new air, which is good, some fresh new air in our talks with each other. But we have to keep in mind, although there is this kind of sort of Taurus Gemini connection here, we don't want to be too fixed about what we want, because after all, let's not forget that the sun and the moon are in Taurus, as is Mercury. So yes, let's be chatty. Let's open up and relate to each other. Let's talk all about travel and new horizons and anything connected with what? Our goals, the internet, because, well, Uranus is in an air sign and it is the ruler of Aquarius. So this is all about our thinking. We're feeling very mobile. We want to come and go. We are filled with thoughts of variety in our life, whether that's our goals, our objectives. It's certain things that we want to get done during this summer. What have you. So it's a very kind of a restless energy with this connection with Gemini. And if you add that in the mix, now Venus is kind of late here at 27 degrees, also at Gemini. Now, although Venus and Gemini makes no connection, well, no major connection with Uranus and Gemini or the late Mercury. Nonetheless, Venus is still yet in the sign of Gemini, and Gemini Venus is still kind of flirty. It kind of expresses our love for third house adventures. As I said, travel, all forms of communication that could include, yes, the internet, computers, and we are feeling very kind of cerebral right now. And this is because of this Gemini, late Taurus, somewhat energy. Because we are kind of feeling a little bit chatty and gabby, we will have to just kind of temper a lot of this with this Taurus sensibility now, because our communications could be a little bit off color, and because Uranus is here with Mercury, even though it's still in Taurus, we may be a little bit overly restless and may speak, because after all, Taurus is the second house, without thought. And although our intentions look rather good or positive, and this is overall a positive influence, we still have to watch that we don't say something that could be rather offensive, even if our intentions are good nonetheless. So that's what this is about. It's a very restless, very interesting energy that we want to open up and communicate, and we want to just welcome in a lot of newness in our life, a lot of positivity. After all, keep in mind, it is a new moon, and we have yet still Jupiter, the prosperity planet, yet moving forward in the sign of Cancer. So the theme, even more so than the Scorpio full moon, will be about what? Our money, our investments, saving, and what else? Because we're talking the fourth house with this Jupiter in Cancer, more about more renovations, and on a broad scale here, as before, it is about uh, saving for a rainy day. And it's about work and family, protection, charity, and security. And this could not just be what is close to home for us and how we're feeling very protective and charitable and very family oriented. Jupiter in Cancer is also kind of a worldwide connection there. So there may be some discussions about charitable organizations or organizations that protect children, because we're talking cancer here, which is also connected with children and family. But nonetheless, it is fourth house, so this is a good time if you're looking to invest. Jupiter in Cancer can bring you, maybe not right away, but down the road, prosperity in real estate investments of all kinds, whether that be metals, whether that be the stock market, flipping homes, or etc., etc. And speaking of the stock market, there could be some good news connected with that, because Taurus and the new moon and here Mercury is about the stock market, and that is connected with Taurus. So, yes, this could be the time if you really want to look into your future finances, that is for sure. But do expect some positive good news connected with the stock market, investments, money management, and so on and so forth with this new moon with Mercury and Uranus. And Uranus, remember, is all about the unexpected. So that could be unexpected good news, most likely, than anything negative in this particular time. And we still have Neptune at 3 degrees of Aries and Saturn. Now, Saturn and Neptune are making a conjunction, but it's very, very wide. It's probably Well, we're looking at probably about as wide a conjunction as you can get within roughly 3 degrees. Excuse me, within roughly 7 degrees, 6 or 7 degrees. We're going to get that right there. And although it's an extremely wide separated conjunction, nonetheless, it still is. So that connection, although loosely so, is still in effect. So, as before, any contracts or negotiations that are discussed, you want to make sure everything is in the clear because we have nebulous Neptune here with Saturn, a bit of a debilitator and blocker in the sign of Aries as well. But one real beauty about Saturn and Neptune for that matter, is Saturn is very determined, very grounded, very focused. Neptune can also provide intuition and a real high sense of creativity and sensitivity imbued with whatever goals that you have in mind. So, if you say, for example, want to start a business, you can use the intuition and creativity of Neptune and the hard work and stability of Saturn. It really allows for one to lay down plans and carry out those plans no matter what. So, this is a very focused, very grounded influence with Neptune, with Saturn on the positive end here. And we have, oh boy, yes, still Chiron, the wounded healer, with Mars now. And keep in mind, Mars is always the planet of action, although Mars, somewhat kind of like Chiron, has a bit of a Taurus sense to it because Mars is late in Aries. So this is really grounded for kind of really wanting to heal from the past. If there are some issues that you feel like you need to get closure with, well, Mars, the planet of action with the healer, Chiron, says this is the time you need to do a little sit down psychology or open up and discuss issues, maybe of the past, maybe of the present, just overall issues with that which may have, what you may feel has injured you emotionally, mentally, psychology. And with Mars and Aries with Chiron, this is the perfect time that you may need to go back and heal because that's really what Chiron's purpose is here with Mars. And we will be very active about finding the answers, unlocking our psychology, so to speak, and really looking to heal, to close the book, what have you, with that influence. And we have Pluto, yes, as always, but now again, retrograde in Aquarius. And keep in mind, Pluto's depositor is Uranus. And right now, Uranus with this new moon in Taurus and Mercury is kind of a big deal this month. Yes, because it is the depositor of Pluto. So the powers that be, those in authority, are going to come into sharp focus right now. And as always, whenever you have a retrograde planet, it is most times, if not always, about having to jump back here too to the past to discuss issues or to clear things up and what have you. And that is a good influence here with Uranus in Gemini making a bit of a wide trine to Pluto, the powerhouse, in Aquarius, and that's also very futuristic as well. And with Mercury applying the trine to Pluto as well within days, That's also good. So a lot is going to come out about negotiations, and personally, this is really good. Uh, it's about kind of remaining objective because keep in mind, Pluto is an air sign, as is Uranus. So it's not in, say, a fire or a water sign, especially. So we can have discussions without getting overly emotional. And because of this kind of airy influence here, late Taurus and Gemini, Mercury, and Pluto also in air, Pluto in Aquarius, even retrograde, this is really good because not only is it ideas oriented and kind of, yes, like the last forecast, we are kind of focused on the future. And of course, as always, this includes, AI, science, tech, whatever, space. And with this air influence, these issues are going to move quickly, kind of fast and furious. And this kind of, with this air influence and Uranus as the depositor of Pluto, there's going to be a lot of communications that move very fast, very quickly in our own lives. We may have to be careful because of this influence, and still Mars hanging on barely there to Aries. We have to be careful that we don't get too caught up with communications, that this could cause a certain amount of friction. We don't want to communicate so unexpectedly, so unpredictably, so rebelliously, all those Uranus, Aquarius keywords, that it causes a certain amount of stress in our life. So during this Taurus new moon, we are going to be busy. And as always, wherever Taurus and Gemini, Aquarius, all the planets are for this new moon in your personal chart are going to be where your personal energy is going to be in your life. But right now, the energy is all about mostly air and earth. So we're not going to get too overly sensitive. We're not going to get too overly emotional. But on the other hand, we're going to get quite cerebral, quite mental about all forms of communication. I mean, that could be anything. It could be internet. It could be talking with each other. It could be science and what have you. But travel, especially, uh, even long distance travel and whatnot. But it's all about not just that we are communicating so quickly, but how we are communication. So this is going to come to the forefront right now. Anything to do with the media focused and broadcasting and all of anything, everything, the written word, the spoken word, and if you really look on a broad scale now, there may be some interesting written documents that we may be curious about. Not necessarily that could create a mystery. We don't really have Scorpio here in the mix, although we do have a wide conjunction of about 6-7 degrees between Saturn and Neptune, which can be a little bit cloudy or deceptive. But this is a time there's going to be discussions about, yes, the written word, the spoken word, really education. Remember, we're really in the thinking and ideas mode right now. But let me tell you, this is a refresher from the Scorpio full moon prior and the Aries fire of that new moon. So right now, for whatever reason, we really want to relate to each other. So this is really kind of adding some new air into this chart. And yeah, some books, documents, this kind of thing is also going to be expressed. Now, You never know. There could be some negativity that is connected with these documents or something regarding the written word, or for that matter, spoken word, something that somebody said or something. But, I'm apt to feel and to see, because of this Taurus Gemini connection with the mix of the unexpected here, that there's going to be some kind of news that comes about unexpectedly that will give us some kind of a reveal. And we just can't help but talk about it. But it's best to talk, to exchange, than to get overly dramatic, or there's that word again, emotional. And that is really the focus here. Um, and we do have, yes, Jupiter in a water sign. We have the North Node in a water sign of Pisces. But overall, this chart is more about the earth, air, influence. And so that's really positive. It's kind of like not only a new moon, but it's almost kind of like a feel good influence. And it's allowing us to be rather curious and ask questions right now about whatever's going on. And these asking of questions and the quick flurry of communications is actually going to be good, because yes, we may feel there's a reveal of something right now, or some kind of burden that has lifted, and this is all too good. Additionally, one other thing that must be mentioned here is, because we have the new moon at 25 degrees with Mercury and the out of sign conjunction with Uranus, because Uranus, keep in mind, is very early on in Gemini. This points to, because keep in mind, Taurus rules our Earth, to possibly some big earthquakes, earth changes, and keep in mind this could also be connected with weather changes, volcanoes, yes, big earthquakes, and so on. So keep an eye out for all those weather and earth changes as we move forward in this Taurus new moon forecast. So keep that in mind. So this, to finalize, is kind of a more positive new moon. It's about let's relate. It's about really becoming restless, but in a positive light. It is about curiosity and a little bit of some fire there with Mars barely there in Aries, but more about what we want for our future personally. It's about our finances and really looking to solid ground to take off on, to really give us a certain sensibility about our objectives and our future. And if that's the case, then this Taurus new moon is going to be very uplifting and very focused on the future. If you'd like to get in touch with me, my contact information is down below. I give one-on-one readings and written reports. Please subscribe to this channel and press the bell notification. Until next time, many, many blessings.